In this episode, I want to show you the type of microphones that I use for my own recording projects. And hopefully I'd like to help you answer your own questions of how do you buy microphones for your studio. It's often a really big question of what you should buy next, and I have some practical advice that's hopefully a down-to-earth method of narrowing down all the choices to buy microphones that are best for your needs. Now before we begin, I actually have something really exciting happening here at Creative Sound Lab. I'm starting a new class for my recording school. It'll be an intensive program with tons of information. My goal for this is really just to ask whatever you guys want to learn about and then go from there. Teach the topics that are really bugging you guys, giving you the most hassle. Do you have any gaps that we could fill in for you? A lot of these episodes, they touch on different points and they're really detailed, but they don't cover the complete process of recording a band, running a session, even running a business. And these are topics that I want to cover in my recording school. You can use the link on the screen or use the link in the description if you're using a mobile device to check out that recording program that I'm starting this month. So today's episode is really about how to select microphones that work together. I mean, how do you purchase microphones for your studio? That's the big question. And it really is a big question because you have a lot of people online that are asking, what mic should I buy next? I have this, what should I buy next? What mic is great for this? What mic is great for that? And so today I want to give you some practical advice and a starting point, if you will, for approaching your microphone buying. And if you use this advice, you at least have a direction. You'll have a starting point and a step-by-step of where you can go next. And this will hopefully take a lot of the confusion out and narrow out thousands of options and just simplify the process. Really take a lot of the fear out of wasting money on gear that is really not going to work for you. So really, what's the first step in buying microphones? And this is just kind of a pile of microphones I've just acquired over the past couple years, and it's really worked for me. And it may not be special for somebody else. Maybe somebody else works differently. But if you like the sounds that I've gotten in the documentaries that I have on this channel, these are really where it's at, okay? This is what works for me. And really, where I start is in the drum overheads. These are the microphones that cost the most money. These can be condenser mics. These can be ribbon mics. These are really where it's at. These are the high frequencies. These are the microphones that are collecting the most detail, the most sensitive things that, if gone wrong, can really sound bad. Now, high end in audio frequency and mixing, these can be equated to maybe adding salt to food, adding sodium, and too much salt really makes it hard to eat. And too little salt, really, makes it flavorless. It needs some salt to bring out the natural flavors in food. And so sometimes you can eat a lot of sodium because it's kind of mixed in. Other times the salt is right on top, like on French fries or something. You can actually taste that salt. And so high-end in frequency is really no different. There are high-end frequencies in ribbon mics. It's just kind of buried in there, but it's still there. Whereas high-end of pencil condensers like the KM184, the microphone I'm actually speaking into, you can't see because it's out of the frame, but there's actually a little bit more high-end. And so the high-end is actually boosted. It's a little bit exaggerated in certain microphones. And certain times that's appropriate, certain times that's not. And so for me, I always prefer to just go easy on the high end, but make sure that it's still there. Okay, I don't want it to be void of high end, but I want to make sure that it's accurately represented. And so the way that I've built my microphone collection is around my dual ribbon. It's an R88 by AEA. And this microphone is great for drum overheads, for acoustic guitar, for vocals. It's really a starting point for my microphone collection. And although that may not be a starting point for a multi-track session, maybe acoustic guitar can come later, but it is a starting point for how I strategize on buying my gear. Because this microphone is really a starting point. It's a multi-use microphone that can be used for multiple applications, and this will give me a sense of what else I'm missing if it's not covered by this mic. So this is really, this is the mic that costs the most money. It's, if you have money to buy one mic, try to buy this mic, okay? This could be, a U87, this could be just a nice pair of overheads. This could be just one mic, okay? So whichever mic that is, you really want to just make sure that it's not too crazy of a microphone. It's a utility microphone. And so the Ribbon, it's got a great mid-range. It's got, just a really smooth trail off towards the top end. And this is really kind of how I build my microphone collection is, I want to make sure that the mid-range is accurately represented and the top end is not too exaggerated, but it's there. Okay, now Ribbon mics are great. They're super fast, but they're also a little dark, kind of like a dynamic mic. So there's a nice trade-off. Now a condenser mic, something like this, the M179, this is a pretty bright microphone, but it's fast. But something like, let's take a dynamic mic. This is an M88 by Bear Dynamic. Great vocal mic, great kick drum mic. This is a little bit slower though, so you wouldn't want to use it on acoustic guitar. But you could use the Ribbon on acoustic guitar. It's really quick. You don't sense that you're losing any detail whatsoever when you're using on acoustic. So whatever your choice is, make sure that you don't go too crazy with it, okay? Try to spend as much money as possible. This is really the place to splurge if you can. From there, it builds into other microphones. So let's take the rest of the drum set. Rest of the drum set, I'm looking at, kick, great mic. I already said this can be used as a vocal mic. Supposedly Phil Collins used this a lot, actually exclusively, as rumor has it. This is a newer version, so I don't know if it really applies to this mic, but I have used it for vocal. Great all-around mic, and also great on toms as well. This is also kind of a classic, more for live use, but if somebody requests it, I have it. It's also great for different kick drums. Not every kick drum likes this mic. They sometimes like this a little bit better. This mic is much more even sounding. Okay, so the low end is much more even on this mic. Low end is almost like sugar. Okay, so you have salt on the top end, and you have sugar on the low end. So you can really oversweeten something, oversweeten the low end with this mic. But this mic, it's still going to capture that low end, but you still get everything. And in fact, this is a large diaphragm dynamic mic. So Bear Dynamic claims it goes up something crazy. I forget the number now, but it does capture all the high end, and it's there. So like the Ribbon mic behind my shoulder here, it's a very even-keeled mic, okay? So even-keeled, general purpose, but still starting to carve out niches for each of the mics. From there, we go on to snare. And snare, I have a couple different options that I like. I actually use the Audix i5 a lot. I use a modified SM57 with no transformer. I have a video for that if you're interested in kind of hearing these on a guitar cabinet. And this is another transformerless SM57, but I just took the back part out of it. Okay, so I can just squeeze this in by the hi-hat if needed. Let's see here, the Audix. This is a standard SM57, just good to have. And another standard SM57 and SM58. These are actually really great if you take the windshield off. Really great sounding mic. And the capsule actually, if you line up the seams right here on the side of the mic, you can see that the capsule actually is able to get about a centimeter closer to a guitar cabinet speaker. So if you line these up on a grill, a fabric of a guitar cabinet, this would actually be able to get more proximity effect in the same type of use. So great little tip. But this is going into the multi-use here. So you have the overhead, which can be used for acoustic guitar, vocal, electric guitar, of course, all these different uses, room, so you have all these different uses. This also can be used for multiple things. I've even used 57s for room mics, okay? Not obviously ideal, but I've done it. So multi-uses here. This could be used for vocal if at the right distance and with a windscreen. I've done it successfully. It was actually for a song called Late by Flint Ziegler. I'll put a annotation on the screen for you if you want to check that out. But the main vocal was an SM58, surprisingly. And once again, multi-uses, multiple uses for stuff. So those are kind of the run-of-the-mill kind of stuff. And we can see that all these things have great mid-range. Okay, the mid-range is king. Okay, mid-range is where everything happens. Okay, you always have systems between iPod, earbuds. You have small radios, car systems. No matter what, people will always hear the mid-range, and it's where the human voice sits, the vocal. Everything is tied together from the mid-range, and then the low end and the high end is just kind of either the sugar or the salt, okay? So the middle is like the flour of the bread, and then we sweeten it or we salt it to taste, okay? So this is all about the mid-range and multi-use. Now, as we go further, we're going into more specialized things. So, these are great for toms. Comparing these, for some reason they sound terrible. If you use them as a room mic, they really don't work. SM57, they actually could work. So, these really can be adjusted to get the shapes and tones out of toms that you want. You can point them in the center or towards the rim to get more harmonics. I can really make these do whatever I need to, and they blend pretty good with my ribbon overhead. Now, a lot of these I keep the clips on, okay, as much as possible. You notice on a 57, I keep the clip on, okay? This is just a practical thing to do. I typically don't use the clip off of 57, so I just keep it on. This is a great little jewel. This is an Electro Voice 635A. This is actually something that my dad gave me. He bought this when he worked as an engineer in the 70s, so he can testify this was from 1976. And it really does sound like 70s if you throw it on a guitar cabinet. It's got a great mid-range tone, and it complements the SM57. So this mic actually makes this one sound hi-fi, if you can imagine that. This is great for a room mic, actually. If you compress the heck out of this, it sounds really cool. So this is something you can find for cheap, old garage sales or music stores. This is something that you just kind of keep a lookout for. And if you find one, grab it. Now, moving onward, here's a really old Electro Voice RE20. And great general purpose mic. This needs some repair, but these mics are really used to a beating, and you can do a lot of work to maintain them, and they still hold their value. And great general purpose mic for vocal, kick, guitar cabinets even, so great general purpose. This is really a great choice. You can actually see in the download for today, the gear buying strategy. It's one of the things that I kind of mention. If you can't buy a really expensive condenser microphone, at least buy a top of class dynamic mic. And at least then you have something that is worth what it can do. And it's not full of any sort of compromise, okay? It's full of its full potential of what it can do. So this is a respected microphone if you're doing, indie rock bands, live setups kind of thing. Even Radiohead, they use this mic. So great mic. Enough said. Now we go into, this is also a mic, great mic. This is a 421-N, 70s, maybe early 80s, I'm not sure. But it's a 421, that's an older version of it, and it really does sound a little bit different from the black ones. And I had to buy it and make some modifications to get it working properly. And it's a great all-around mic. So this is kind of my go-to for guitar cabinets if I'm not using the Ribbon or the 57. Okay, now from here we go into the condenser microphones. And this is a kind of a neo standard, I guess, of toms. They sound great on toms. They're kind of an alternative to the 414. I don't think they sound anything like the 414s. Some people call them the poor man's 414, but it's M179 by CAD. And it really is it's a bright mic, okay? So compared to everything else, this has a lot of bright character to it. And it's like a slap in the face if you try to blend it with something else here. It's a totally different sound. But if you're going for a really modern acoustic sound with tons of acoustics, and you're you have guys jamming out and soloing on acoustic, this would be a great choice. Okay, modern bluegrass recordings, great choice for that kind of sound. Okay, so clean, crisp, small diaphragm type sounds. This would be obviously kind of a medium diaphragm choice, but this is a great choice for toms. Okay, and real quick, kind of bright. You can adjust it to kind of sort out the bleed from the cymbals. So not a bad choice. A little bit more difficult to use actually than something like the E604. These you're just going to get a lot of the meat of the toms and really count on the overhead to pick up that attack. Whereas this, I typically get the attack and the meat, and it sounds really huge. So this is a great mic for toms. You just have to spend a little bit more time dialing in the position on them. Then from there we go to kind of a classic, the 414 BULS. This is a mic that I actually bought for $500, and it turned out that the capsule needed to be replaced, so I had to spend $500 more to get it replaced. So I have $1,000 in it, pretty much the cost of a new mic, but for me, it's a transformer microphone. So it's not transformerless, it's an old style 414. I think it sounds great. And great general purpose. It does not work for kick, but sounds really great for a lot of other things. The Omni setting on it is great for vocal when you want to get really close pamplemousse type vocal where it's like really close, intimate vocal sound. So great all-around mic. I wish I had two of them, but I don't want to have to go through the process of buying an old mic and then spending it another $500 to get the capsule replaced. So I'm kind of not really sure what to do with it to pair it up with a like microphone, but great mic. And then another mic I use a lot is the Audio-Technica 4040. This microphone, not expensive, but it does have a nice all-around sound. This mic I actually can use for kick. It's got a quick sound. It is cardioid only, and for whatever reason its design is able to really focus the sound a lot better. So you set these two microphones up in the room across from a drum set, and this microphone sounds like it's a few feet closer to the kit. So it just has an ability to tune out a lot of the room sound. If it's a little bit noisy room sound, it just sounds a little bit more focused on the source in front of it. This mic has a little bit more EQ'd sound, obviously, than this. It doesn't sound as high quality as the 414, but it does have more ready to go, straight out of the box kind of sound. You do have to kind of mind your positioning on it, mind the angle down or directly in, or even the height compared to the vocalist's mouth. But really, it can work really great for a lot of different vocalists. For me, I find that a high-pitched male vocalist, kind of a tenor vocalist, think Radiohead, Tom York, that kind of vocalist would be great for this mic. Okay, so that is really kind of the gist of what I use personally. And maybe you have a totally different opinion. That's totally cool. I trust that you'll do a good job at it, because if I were in your shoes, I'd probably make the same decisions. If I had a bunch of mics that sounded like this, then I definitely would think that this mic was there's something wrong with it. It's way too dull. But when I have a mic like the ribbon mic, and then I fire up a mic like this, it seems to work a lot better. So everybody's situation is totally different, and your perspective is definitely going to influence the way you look at mics and you make additions to what you already have. But the idea is really to start with your best mic. Focus on your best mic, okay? If you don't have a great mic yet, really, what is something you can plan for and really build around that microphone? Try to get the best possible thing that you can afford, and then work down from there using your most intensive instrument that you ever record. For me, it's the drums. It's using the most microphones, and I really have to make sure that it's all hands on deck for the drums. Now, I don't have, 2 of the 421s. I don't have 2 of the M88s. And so those both would be great tom mics. But unfortunately, because I don't have 2 of them, I typically just use the 421 for guitar. I typically don't whip it out for toms. I could use this for kick if I wanted to, freeing up the M88 for tom duty if I wanted to. But you just have to start with your most intense use of microphones, and then see from that use what you can use with other things around the studio. I also want to encourage you to check out my recording program. It's going to be a really cool time with students from all over the world. We're going to be covering recording techniques, creative techniques, and techniques that are just right down the middle of the road, no-fail approach. And with these techniques, you simply can't make bad recordings. After all, if you can't make a good sounding recording, you just can't experiment. You can't go any further. You're still stuck. You're still saying, I just need to make a recording that sounds good, and then I can start sounding, like the Black Keys or like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. And so you have to really know how to make a good recording first, and then start creatively experimenting with sounds. And so if you don't have that first, I really encourage you, if your pain is knowing how to make stuff sound good, I can help you. And I've already been corresponding with students, every day. I'm getting letters, I'm getting comments. I do correspond with everybody that I get mail from. I even have a page on my website with all my emails and comments and things. And so I'm extremely accessible. I'd love to help you with this. Definitely check out my recording school that I'm starting. It's a new class I'm starting this month. The link is on the screen or below in the description if you're on a mobile device. I'll see you next week.